Welcome back to English Unfiltered, the podcast where we explore real conversations in English. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie, and today we're diving into, well, actually, I want you to just imagine this scenario for a second.
Okay, lay on me.
So you're at a networking event, or maybe, I don't know, a friend's party, and you meet someone, you have this great chat, lots of laughs, the whole thing.
Right, a really solid interaction.
Exactly. And then as you're leaving, they look you right in the eye, they smile super warmly, and they say, "We should totally get coffee next week. I'll text you."
Oh man, I know where this is going.
Right. So you go home and you're thrilled. You know, you're thinking, awesome, I made a new friend, and you wait by the phone. Thursday passes. Friday passes.
Radio silence.
Absolute radio silence. The weekend just comes and goes. And you're left sitting there wondering, like, did you do something wrong? Or did you just fall into this massive invisible trap in the English language?
Yeah, and that situation right there, that is the source of so much, like, quiet heartbreak for anyone learning this language.
It really is. It's so discouraging.
It's those baffling moments where a conversation seems to be going incredibly well, and the literal words sound like a solid promise, but then the reality delivers absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all.
So today, our mission is to decode this for you. We're going to map out the hidden, unwritten rules of English conversations. Because once you understand what native speakers are actually doing in these moments, it's going to change everything about how you navigate the language.
Yeah, it's a completely necessary shift because, I mean, if you don't understand the mechanics behind this behavior, the emotional confusion is just, it's overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely. You start to feel like these interactions are just completely fake.
Right. Like if you grew up in a culture where words are just taken at face value, you know, where a plan is a plan and an invitation is an actual invitation.
Right, where words actually mean what they mean in the dictionary.
Exactly. If you come from that background, this behavior feels like pure deception. It feels like they're just lying to your face.
And that makes total sense. I mean, you've spent years studying grammar. Right? You've memorized the vocabulary. You translated their words perfectly in your head.
You did everything right.
But treating a phrase like, "let's hang out," is some sort of binding contract. It's honestly like someone handing you this beautiful, detailed menu, but the restaurant itself is completely closed.
Oh, wow. That is a great way to put it.
Right. Like you understand all the words on the menu, but you are not getting dinner.
You are definitely not getting dinner.
But I have to push back here for a second on behalf of the listener. Because if someone hands me a menu to a closed restaurant, they're tricking me. Why say we should hang out if you have zero intention of actually doing it? Isn't that just a lie?
See, that's the literal trap. But the answer to why do they do this is totally cultural, not linguistic. Native speakers do not experience this as dishonest at all.
Wait, really? They don't feel like they're lying?
Not even a little bit. Because in their minds, they are prioritizing social comfort over literal promises. Linguists and sociologists actually call these phrases social scripts.
Social scripts. Okay, so like lines in a play.
Yeah, exactly. They're established, highly predictable conversational patterns. And to really grasp why English relies on them so heavily, you have to look at the sociology of places like the US, Canada, or the UK.
Because they're highly mobile societies, right?
Exactly. Mobility is just built into the culture, especially in North America.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You might leave your hometown at 18 to go to university. Then you move to a totally new city at 22 for your first job.
Right, and then you relocate again in your 30s.
You are just constantly uprooting your life and finding yourself in rooms full of absolute strangers.
And that is the key. When you are constantly surrounded by strangers, you need a quick, frictionless way to establish that you are safe to be around.
That makes sense. Like if you live in a small traditional village where your family has known everyone else's family for, I don't know, 4 generations.
You already have that deep established trust. You can afford to be brutally honest and direct.
But if you just move to a new city and you're making small talk in an office break room with people you literally just met,
you don't have that foundational trust at all. You need a tool to manufacture instant, lightweight harmony. And that is exactly what the social script was invented to do.
So the goal isn't actually information exchange. The goal is just tension reduction.
Yes. It's avoiding awkwardness at all costs. Because to a native speaker, awkwardness between strangers feels like a threat. It feels dangerous.
Wow. Okay, so when they say, "let's get coffee sometime," they aren't lying, because honesty isn't even the metric they're using for that interaction.
You nailed it. They are using those words to signal, hey, I enjoyed our time, I am a friendly person, and I want to exit this conversation on a positive note.
They're just trying to land the plane safely.
Exactly. It's a social lubricant. But listen, if we're talking about tools for frictionless living, we really have to talk about the granddaddy of them all.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
The phrase that causes more confusion than pretty much any other piece of English vocabulary.
The classic, how are you?
The ultimate trap for the literal listener.
It really is. Because, I mean, if I take that phrase at face value, I assume you actually want to know about my day.
Right. You think it's a real question.
Yeah. If someone asks me, how are you? And I actually tell them, like, well, I slept terribly, I spilled coffee on my shirt, and I'm super stressed about my rent.
Oh my gosh, you have completely derailed the interaction.
I totally have. And it's like I took a friendly social signal and treated it like a medical intake form. Let me list my symptoms for you.
I mean, try giving a deeply honest answer to a cashier who just asked, how's it going? While they're scanning your apples.
They would be terrified.
You will immediately see panic in their eyes. They are not equipped for that emotional baggage because they weren't actually asking a question.
Right, how are you? Functions almost entirely as just a conversational opener. It's a ping to acknowledge your presence.
Like a little, hey, I see you and we're cool.
Okay, but if how are you is just an empty noise and let's keep in touch is just this polite fake menu, then the actual words are practically useless.
They kind of are, yeah. The dictionary definition is completely useless in these moments.
So what is actually doing the heavy lifting here? If it's not the vocabulary, how does anyone know what's going on? It has to be the performance, right? Like the delivery.
Oh, the performance is everything. The script only works if it is delivered with the exact correct emotional tone.
And in English, I mean, particularly American English, that tone is very, very specific.
It really is. How would you describe it?
Well, it's what I always think of as the mild TV commercial tone.
Wait, the mild TV commercial tone? I love that. What do you mean?
Okay, you know how in daytime commercials, the actors are always just slightly too happy about really boring household products?
Yes, like someone smiling at a paper towel.
Exactly. It feels like everyone is acting in a commercial for a product they only kind of like. There's this constant baseline of friendliness, this light, bouncy enthusiasm.
Right, where everything is amazing or awesome or totally great.
Yes. Like you tell someone you found parking across the street and they go, oh, that's amazing.
And you're just standing there like, really?
Right. No, it isn't. Curing a disease is amazing. Finding a parking spot is just, convenient.
It's so true. And to a listener from Eastern Europe or parts of Asia or really anywhere that shows emotional sincerity through calmness or seriousness.
Oh, that American enthusiasm must sound incredibly exaggerated.
It sounds artificial, almost manic, honestly.
I would even say it breeds distrust. Because think about it, if you tell me my shoes are amazing and the weather's amazing and your sandwich is amazing, I start to realize your definition of the word amazing has absolutely no value.
Right. You're like, this person is unstable.
Exactly. Why do native speakers feel the need to inflate their emotions like that?
Well, think back to that idea of a highly mobile society full of strangers, that exaggerated light enthusiasm. It's a social radar ping.
A radar ping, like a submarine.
Yes. When a submarine sends out a sonar ping, it's checking the environment to make sure there are no obstacles or threats.
Okay, I track that.
When a native English speaker says, oh my gosh, that's so awesome, with a huge smile, they aren't actually evaluating the quality of your parking spot.
So what are they doing?
They are sending out a social ping that says, I am friendly, I am non-hostile, we are having a safe, emotionally smooth interaction.
Wow. They're literally just lubricating the social gears. The enthusiasm has nothing to do with the topic. It's entirely about the relationship.
Yes, by staying universally positive, they are ensuring that the interaction never dips into a territory that requires heavy emotional labor.
Man, okay. But Jamie, hold on.
Wow.
Even if I understand all of this, if I understand the history of mobility and the performance of the TV commercial tone,
Yeah.
I still have to speak up for the listener here because this feels incredibly unfair. It honestly feels like a rigged game.
A rigged game? How so?
Because if the rules of communication are completely invisible, that means that the native speaker holds all the power in the dynamic.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right. They get to dictate what is a literal invitation and what is just a script. They change the goalposts without telling you.
And you, as the language learner, just end up standing there waiting for a phone call that never comes.
Exactly, looking foolish. How are you supposed to navigate a system where the dictionary just straight up lies to you.
I hear that frustration, and let me tell you, it is completely valid. It is exhausting. But the native speaker isn't consciously changing the goalposts to trick you.
They're not.
No, they are actually communicating the difference between a real invitation and a fake one. They're just doing it on a frequency you haven't been taught to tune into yet.
The unwritten rules of implied meaning.
Precisely. The true meaning of an English sentence is rarely contained fully inside the vocabulary. Native speakers are rarely just listening to the words.
So what are they doing?
They are constantly, subconsciously interpreting a dozen other factors simultaneously to figure out what the other person actually intends.
Okay, so as I'm a learner trying to decode this in real time, what am I looking for? If I can't trust the words, what do I trust?
Well, what do you think?
I imagine they aren't just listening, they're watching. Like, I bet native speakers are watching your shoes to see if they're pointing toward the door while you're talking.
Yes. Body language?
Or they're listening to see if your voice goes up an octave to sound extra polite.
You just nailed two of the biggest tells. Body language and vocal pitch are massive indicators of implied meaning.
Okay, so give me an example.
Let's take the classic, "We should hang out sometime." If someone says that while grabbing their coat, breaking eye contact, and shifting their weight toward the exit,
That's the polite exit script.
exactly, it means absolutely nothing.
It's just the receipt for the conversation.
Yes. But on the flip side, if someone says, "We should hang out," and they maintain eye contact,
Okay, eye contact is good.
and their voice stays in a grounded, normal register rather than that high-pitched, polite tone. And most importantly, they immediately follow it up with a specific detail, like, "Are you free next Thursday to get coffee?"
Next Thursday. That is literal.
Yes. The addition of a specific time or place shifts the phrase from a social script to an actual logistical plan.
So the specificity is the anchor. If it's vague, it's a script. If it has a date attached, it's real.
Usually, yes. And timing matters too. Think about context.
Like when they say it.
Right. If "let's keep in touch" is the very last thing someone says as the elevator doors are literally closing in front of them.
It's just a friendly way of goodbye.
Exactly. But if they say it in the middle of a deep conversation while actively pulling out their phone to ask for your number, the context changes the definition completely.
Man, this really highlights a hard truth about language learning, doesn't it?
What's that?
Conversational fluency just isn't a math equation. It's not just vocabulary plus grammar equals understanding.
No, it really isn't.
You could memorize the entire dictionary, nail the pronunciation of every single syllable, and still step into a cafe and be completely socially lost.
Because true fluency requires understanding the social rhythm. You have to learn how to read indirect communication, recognize that emotional signaling, and figure out the conversational intention of the speaker in real time.
Like asking yourself, what are they trying to achieve with these words right now? Are they trying to make concrete plans, or are they just trying to escape an awkward silence?
Exactly. It sounds like a mountain to climb, I know. But honestly, there's also something really liberating about this realization.
Liberating, how do you mean?
Well, once you accept that these phrases aren't literal promises, the pressure drops instantly.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if you realize that "let's keep in touch" is just a friendly noise, almost like a bird chirping in a tree, you stop waiting for the phone to ring.
You stop feeling rejected or lied to.
Exactly. The emotional weight of the interaction just totally vanishes.
That is such a crucial turning point for every learner. When you stop trying to translate social scripts literally, English conversations suddenly feel much lighter.
They feel much more natural. You accept the interaction for exactly what it was, a brief moment of shared, polite harmony, nothing more, nothing less.
You take the grocery receipt, you smile, and you go about your day.
I love that. You just go about your day.
So let's pull all of this together. What have we actually uncovered today? We've learned that conversational English leans incredibly heavily on social scripts to manufacture fast, frictionless harmony.
Right, especially in cultures where people are highly mobile and constantly interacting with strangers.
We've also decoded that mild TV commercial tone. That light, bouncy enthusiasm and constant positivity aren't necessarily expressions of deep truth.
No, they're social radar pings designed to project safety and friendliness.
And finally, we realized that phrases like "we should hang out" or "how are you" are not literal contracts. Fluency means reading the invisible signs.
The body language, the timing, the tone of voice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Looking for those to understand the real intention behind the words.
Which brings us to a little challenge we want to leave you with today. A fun experiment to try in the real world.
Yes, I love this. Tomorrow, when you are out and about, I want you to just observe people interacting, and the very next time someone looks at you and asks, "How are you?"
Which they will.
Which they definitely will. I want you to completely ignore the grammar of the question. Do not treat it as an inquiry into your life.
Treat it exactly like a physical wave of the hand.
Just give a light, positive sound back. A quick, good, you. Or even just a warm smile and a nod.
Essentially just wave back. Notice how much smoother the interaction flows when you do that.
Notice how the pressure to perform or to explain yourselves completely disappears when you stop trying to answer a question that was never actually asked.
It shifts the entire dynamic. You stop fighting the current and start swimming with it.
It really does. Man, this has been such an eye-opening conversation today.
It really has.
Thank you so much for joining us and for letting us help you navigate these messy, beautiful, and sometimes utterly confusing interactions.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the hidden mechanics of English. Keep listening, keep practicing, and remember, you are doing amazing.
And we mean that literally, not just as a social script. Thanks for listening.